Okay, we are back across the Cavs. We are looking at the Anthony Davis and Luka Dončić super swap. This is a trade, again, that has taken the league by storm and been an absolute stunner. Certainly something that no one expected to happen. And apologies for that quick delay. We're back. We're going to look at this trade. And we talked about what the Mavs got. They get a 2029 first-round pick. They get Max Christie. They get Anthony Davis. The Utah Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks, in which they paid $55,000 each for. That's just if you want the technicals. Nice job by Danny Ainge getting into the biggest trade of the season, maybe of the decade, maybe longer. This is the craziest one to break since, what, Kawhi to the Clippers, maybe? That insane Paul George SGA mega swap. So, continuing here, let's look back at that trade that sent Anthony Davis to the Lakers. Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, DeAndre Hunter, Brandon Ingram, cash, and multiple firsts. The firsts, again, one became Dyson Daniels. One of them is going to be used this year by the Pelicans. Of course, DeAndre Hunter got flipped to the Hawks. In exchange, the Pelicans, or actually, the Wizards got Isaac Bonga, Jamario Jones, Mo Wagner. Pelicans picked up cash. There were some other picks. Essentially, it was AD for Ball, Hart, Ingram, and some picks, none of which, of course, would remain and stay. So, just making that known. And so, the Lakers. Here's what the Lakers get out of this crazy swap, this crazy deal. It's certainly no other word to describe what happened. The Lakers get Markieff Morris, who actually won a title with the Lakers. Who knows if he's going to stay? Probably, you'd have to assume he'll stay and give them something. But it is worth noting when we're talking about Markieff Morris, we're not talking about the guy that was a scorer. Markieff Morris has not really been an X factor for years. He played 26 games last year. He played 35 the year before. The injury at Miami, he played 17. Played 61 the year before that. Keith has only played 7 games, and he's shooting 22% on the season. Just making it known for Markieff Morris, he's been traded in season several times. The first time to the Wizards, where he was pretty good in his first season. He was not good for the Thunder, shooting 39% with 6 points per game. When he got traded to the Lakers, he averaged 5 points per game in the regular season upon the reboot, the year they won the title. When he got traded to the Mavericks, last time he averaged 4.5 points per game. He played in 8 games. When Markieff Morris has been a midseason trade guy, each of the last several times, he has not been an X factor. He has not had an impact on the court. And the Lakers have no other guy who's over 6'10" that can space out. So maybe he'll end up getting minutes. Who knows? They do get Maxi Kleber, who, if you haven't followed the NBA recently, Maxi Kleber is injured at the moment. Maxi Kleber is not healthy. And so, because Maxi Kleber is not healthy, he's not going to have an impact anytime soon. He can space the floor as a small ball 5, but you really want to probably put him next to a bigger guy. Like when Dallas could put him with PJ or with Gafford or with Lively, Maxi Kleber. And obviously, he hasn't been traded since draft night. And if you go to his basketball reference page, there is very little on it outside of his many nicknames. The Matador, El Matador, Cool Hands, The Don, Wonder Boy, El Nino Maravilla, Swaggy L, Luka Legend, Too Easy, Luka Magic. All those nicknames. And then you go all the way down. My favorite part of basketball reference is the transaction history. Who does he have? Showing here. Drafted by the Atlanta Hawks, 3rd overall, 2018. Same night, traded by the Hawks for Trae Young in a 2019 first-round pick, which was top 5 protected. That pick became Cam Reddish. So, fun fact, Luka Dončić is now reunited with the pick he was traded for. He and Cam Reddish are teammates. No one is following the trade to find out that Cam Reddish and Luka Dončić are now teammates. Nobody cares about that. Cam Reddish is not the guy he was when he dropped 35 for the Hawks in their conference finals defeat to the Milwaukee Bucks. He is not the same guy. Cam Reddish will not score 30. As a matter of fact, he's barely been playing of late. Cam Reddish has minutes in just 2 of the last 10 games. He averages 18 minutes, just 3 points. He had a bit of a career rejuvenation in Portland after the Knicks decided to push him to the bench. So, who knows? Maybe they'll keep Cam Reddish so they could try and lure RJ or Zion, but the Lakers really don't have any crazy trade chips. Unless they want to move from Austin Reeves, which you really would not expect because now you know what Luka's going to do for your offense. Again, I do want to talk about the rosters that are left behind after we talk about the actual trade here. But what's left behind on the Lakers is not a great starting 5 across the board. Now, you have Austin Reeves, Luka Dončić, and LeBron James. That is an incredible 3. I don't care how old LeBron is. He is still a high-level player, and if you look at some of his recent performances, he's been starting to find it again. LeBron has scored 20-plus in 10 straight games. He had a triple-double last night, 33, 11, and 12. 24 and 11 assists against the Wizards. He's been up, up, up. So, yeah, he's got these 2 30-point games in the past week. He has multiple triple-doubles. He's got 5 games of 10 or more assists. Obviously, they probably feel that it is his age as well. Another reason for this trade. It is a crazy trade. We need to make that known. Maybe another reason for making this swap might be that he's 40. Can we really have him dominating the ball and involved in every play like this all season, playing almost every game? Probably not. You're also going to have to get him some rest days. He can't play every game. He's 40. You have to – look, the fans are going to hate that. But he's 40 years old. He's playing at a high level on a team that will probably still believe they can compete for a championship. Of course, this is trade deadline week, and they are definitely not done. If Lakers take this roster past Thursday, I would be shocked. Ask anybody as an executive, they would also be shocked. You have to believe that they're setting this up to try and make more moves. The problem is you traded AD, and you got the best possible player in the trade, Luka Dončić, but you didn't really get any other chips. And because you traded your 2029 first, actually, did they get that 2029 first? This is a lot to process. Going to go back to the trade. Yeah, so the Lakers even traded a first-round pick. They traded their pick, so they don't even have picks left to dangle. So, and they traded an additional second in the trade to Utah. The starting front court with LeBron is Rui and Jackson Hayes. So, Jackson Hayes has some legal stuff pending. I mean, you look at his recent games, he really does not move the needle. He averages 5 points and 4 rebounds for the season. In his last couple of starts with AD out, he had 10, 10, and 2 with 3 blocks. Against the Knicks, 4 points, 2 rebounds, 3 steals, and a block. He's long. He's lanky. He's a lob threat, but he really doesn't bring too much to the table for you. I mean, he's a 7-point-per-game scorer in his career. He's had big minutes before. His value is literally just he's tall. That's literally it. I mean, he does not bring a lot to the table. He will not have a big impact on the court. So what exactly do you have at center? You have Jackson Hayes and you have Trey Jemison. Is that what they got here? We're going to look at the depth chart. Christian Koloko, Jackson Hayes, Trey Jemison. I would love to see this for Christian Koloko to say, hey, we got our big man from Cameroon here. He's healthy again, no blood clot. He's played 27 games for us, but he really hasn't shown much. You know, he is on a 2-way. Maybe he gets an opportunity to take over. You know, Trey Jemison has been getting some run recently. Spent an earlier part of the year with the banged-up Pels. He hasn't been great. He's had a couple of 2-block games. He hasn't really put the ball in the basket. He's not shooting it much at all. I mean, Trey Jemison last 5 games, 3 games of at least 15 minutes. In 5 games, he's taken 9 shots. So, Christian Wood yet to play. Jared Vanderbilt is a bit undersized. You definitely look at Jared Vanderbilt and say, okay, power forward. But I do want to note, 29 games last year. He's only been in 4 so far. He's averaging 3 points, 5 rebounds. He's averaging 2 steals. Vanderbilt certainly peaked his value on his last season with Minnesota, and is that half a season with the Utah Jazz. Vanderbilt was a decent player when the Lakers made a run a few years ago, but he's small. He's certainly going to be coming off the bench. You don't expect Jared Vanderbilt to be a starter. And now the rest of the Mavs lineup, excuse me, we're still on the Lakers here. The whole depth chart, I'm going to just go through this because and we'll see what day this trade actually processes. At point guard, Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, Luka Dončić, essentially. Reeves will probably be pushed to the 2. You got Shake Milton, Bronny James, Austin Reeves, of course. At the small, you do have Dalton Connect, who will probably have to play, will probably be playing a bigger role now. Dalton Connect and LeBron Reddish are the wings. They have Finney Smith, Vanderbilt, and Rui Hachimura, and then see if Christian Wood comes back, if he's coming back this year. JJ Redick. The last update came on January 14th. He said he had no idea what was happening. You know, Maxi Kleba is out with a broken foot that happened last week. You would have loved to have had him healthy. The Mavs said they were optimistic Luka would come back before the All-Star break. But now, see if that happens for the Lakers or if they just wait until after. Actually, the All-Star break's still a couple weeks away. We got the trade deadline is what's this week. But just want to go back. So Luka only, of course, 22 games. Luka finishes his Mavericks career with 422 games, 29, 9, and 8. 5 years in a row, All-NBA first team, which means top 5 player, 5 years in a row. 5 straight All-Star games after being Rookie of the Year over Trae Young in his first season. He averaged 34 last year, 32 the year before. They mentioned concerns with his weight in that he was ballooning up to 270, 280, and they're worried about that. I mean, this guy had a 70-point game. They were in the finals last year. He got hurt on Christmas Day against Minnesota, where he had 14 and 5. Luka's last big game is when he had 45, 11, and 13, and 143, 133 win over the Warriors on December the 15th. He had come back after missing a few to play against Portland. I mean, they better retire that number. It's crazy, truly, that he's gone. Luka helped the Mavs win their first playoff series since the NBA Finals in the 21-22 season, and you saw going all the way to the finals in the 23-24 last year. I mean, 31, 9, and 9 in the playoff. 31, 9, and 8 with 2 steals in the playoffs. He did everything he could last year. They just ran into the Boston Celtics, who are not a good matchup for them. It stinks that they're not going to bring a title in this run. You hate to see that. But wow. So that's where the Lakers stand. Let's talk about the Dallas Mavericks and their new roster with their new players and what a possible lineup would look like. So they won 50 games last year, went to the finals. They went to the conference finals in 21-22. And that, after that year, that's when they lost Jalen Brunson to the Knicks. Reggie Bullock left. It's a whole roster redo. They missed the playoffs in the next season, the year where they had traded for Kyrie midway. And Kyrie had played in 20 games. Then they go back to the finals, their first year with that backcourt. This year's Mavs are 26 and 23, coming off a loss to the Pistons. They got the number 11 offense, the number 16 defense. Haven't exactly wowed anybody. They haven't been scary in the same capacity. And so here's where they're at roster-wise. Point guard, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dante Exum, and Brandon Williams. Dante Exum just made his return on Friday. Also at guard, they got Quentin Grimes and Jaden Hardy, who's continued to prove it to be a scorer, just 22 years of age. Grimes still just 24 years of age. Two-way Kessler Evers has been playing because a lot of guys have been banged up. They've got Najee Marshall, brings a lot of toughness. Klay Thompson has played both the two, mostly small forward. We'll see if he sizes down now into the backcourt. And then you add Max Christie as a new guard on this team who will bring some defensive impact. We'll see what his minutes are, how they want to play this. Probably plays a little less than he did in LA. They got the second-year man, Olivier Maxence Prosper, with P.J. Washington. Derek Lively out indefinitely. He's hurt. They just brought in Kyler Kelly, the 27-year-old rookie, now first time getting NBA minutes. They got Dwight Powell, and they got Daniel Gafford. Just to look at the injury report, AD, Kyrie day-to-day with a shoulder injury. Gafford, questionable for today. He's got an ankle issue. Derek Lively's ankle injury, actually. They said he'll be evaluated from now in about 3 weeks. Dwight Powell is out with a hip. P.J. Washington apparently is day-to-day. Team is at 49 games, and nobody's played in all of them. Only 3 guys have missed less than 7. Now, certainly injuries have played a part on this team. They'd had 8 guys averaging double figures because of who's gone in and out of the lineup with injury. Lively right behind, same with Hardy. We'll see how they end up doing their depth chart now. Once AD and Christie play, they'll have 21 guys suit up. They had Jazzy and Gortman earlier in the year. He's now gone. Let's see what happens. It's my ideal lineup for the Mavericks would honestly be to just go huge and bring some fire off the bench. I don't know if this will be what they end up doing. This is an at full strength lineup, and then there's the right now lineup. The at full strength lineup for the Dallas Mavericks should absolutely be Kyrie at the 1, Klay at the 2, PJ Washington small forward with AD and Gafford. AD can play some perimeter. He said he wants to play power forward. Now, will they grant that wish? We don't know. There are rumors that the Mavericks were looking to move Daniel Gafford. Maybe then they would just go AD Lively. It's hard to say. Maybe what they would do, they'll kind of treat it like a Cavs situation. You get Mobley, Allen, so you have AD Lively. One of them comes off. The other plays the center. So what will probably happen is Lively will come off. AD will shift to the 5. Then when AD goes for his break, Lively shifts to the 5. They don't have the dynamic backcourt like they used to, so you can't sub your point guards with them. So Donovan runs point with his big as Garland and Allen, Mitchell and Mobley generally run together for the most part. When they do that throughout the game, we'll see how they play it. That lineup gives you size, immense size. You've still got 3 shooters, good shooters, PJ, Klay, and Kyrie. You've got size. You've got rebounding on the perimeter. You're set defensively everywhere. Obviously, Kyrie not the best defender, but he's put in a great effort since getting to Dallas. And then bench, Grimes, Dinwiddie, Exum. You've got so many options. It's going to be probably Gafford for now would be backup 5. Najee Marshall is an absolute hustler. You could still get Jaden Hardy some run. It's hard to say if they're actually going to go with that lineup. Will Exum stay in the rotation with all the guards we're talking about? That's to be determined. That's not a definite thing that's going to happen. So this is some trade, folks. It is really hard to wrap around it and understand what we saw. I don't even know the Cleveland comparison. I don't want to try and make it. I just have so many thoughts. The future. Lakers traded AD. They traded their interior anchor. You do have to look at the fact that they lost 8 straight playoff games coming in under Darvin Ham after getting to the conference finals. So ended up losing record in the playoff despite winning 2 series, going right to a conference finals. And they didn't really have any future pieces. Austin Reeves has shown some great things this year. Certainly in his 4th season, career high in points, steals, assists, minutes, usage, opportunities. It's his first year as a full-time starter. There was that stretch last year where he was coming off the bench. He's been good in the playoffs both times he was there. Of course, this year he's played a lot of point. Had some playmaking opportunities, which he didn't in years past. He's played, if you go to the numbers by percentage, 55% at point guard, 41 at small forward, 41% at shooting guard, 4% at small forward, 34% at point guard last year, and hardly ever the prior 2 years. So once they traded D'Lo and they got Finney-Smith, things started to become a little more clear who's doing what for them. The Lakers have now made 2 trades. They certainly have to make another one. They have their future piece in Luka Dončić. Just, 26 years of age, coming off a trip to the finals. Just have to hope he can get his body right and stay healthy. Because you look at his games played, overall, fine. Not other than this season, 70 last year, 66, 65, 66, 61, 72. Bearing in mind that first 66, the 2021 season was shortened to 72 games. So he only missed 6 that year. 21-22, he missed, 11? Or other than 19-20. But they have their future backcourt with Luka and Reeves. You have to figure out how does LeBron factor in? Will he retire with the Lakers? You thought for sure initially, especially when they brought Bronny in. But maybe he wants to go somewhere else and make one more push. Now, the craziest thing would be LeBron not being a Laker in 4 days. Obviously, they just brought in Luka. Not really going to happen. But imagine that. After what we just saw, is anything passable? With Devin Booker's comments about something like this happening means no one is untouchable. No one, and it really is a business. Anyone could be traded at any time. We love basketball as fans. Anyone that covers the game professionally, a writer, a commentator, a journalist, a podcaster. Basketball is amazing. Sports are the best. The greatest distraction from everyday life. And truly one of the most exciting hobbies and things to follow along. And you get news like this. And it does remind you, as an outsider, yeah, that's cold. AD had a great Laker career. His number will go into the rafters. Absolutely. Without question. You look at his time here and what he's meant. 312 games across 6 years, averaging 25 and 11. He put up a couple triple-doubles last year. AD represented the Lakers in 3 All-Star games. He was a 2-time All-NBAer. Injuries did play a big part. Last year was the first time he had played in at least 70 games. 36, 40, and 56 in a 3-year span from 2020 to 23. It's amazing he's still at this high level. His body's finally letting him play. His injuries have killed Anthony Davis. You probably wish you got more games out of him. But it's a business. AD will have his number retired. Luka will have his number retired. And the question everybody is asking, when will the Lakers play the Mavericks? And the answer to that question is on February 25th. You know, if it's not already on national TV, it's getting flexer. The game is in LA. You expect an AD tribute, some cheers. And then when it shifts to Dallas and Luka comes back, probably the same thing. Now imagine being the social media people on these teams today or last night when that breaks. Woo! Man. They got the graphic ready fast today. Welcome to Dallas, AD. Man, you got to circle that game on your calendar. February 25th, the Lakers and the Mavericks getting together and Luka and AD going at it. Now imagine this as a playoff series. Woo! And you have to think, did LeBron know about this? Did LeBron know this move was coming? The way it happened and the way things went down, you assume no. I mean, you can speculate on the images we saw of how LeBron was looking at Davis. But man, we'll have a special trade deadline show on February 6th, right at 3 o'clock. Do that every year. Every year since 2015. 9 years in a row, I've covered the trade deadline. I'll be doing it again live, breaking down every single move. Starting with this one. PJ Tucker getting traded to the Utah Jazz was not the biggest NBA transaction yesterday. Wow. Utah Jazz waving Mo Bamba was also not the biggest transaction yesterday. Lakers get Luka. Mavs get AD. Utah Jazz, Jalen Hood Schifino. Get some. They had to trade an extra player somewhere, so that is the reason for that third team involvement. But all right, we had a trade. It shook things up. Been thinking about this trade nonstop since I woke up at 6:45 Eastern. That is it. Those are some thoughts. As for the rest of the NBA, be on the lookout. Any of your guys can be moved at any time. Loyalty does not win in basketball. This is just another reminder. Cavs are sitting pretty at 39-9, so that's pretty great. Go Cleveland, let them know. Let's see if this has an impact on other teams looking to do something. Will Denver upgrade? OKC do anything? They honestly are fine just standing pat at this point. They don't need to go get a Gordon Hayward type this year. They've won enough. Or maybe they do want someone. The Cavs certainly we know are going to be doing something. But all right. And this was the Luka AD swap pod. And yeah. Don't have anything else to say. This trade that's everything. Let's see how the teams actually stack up and what lineups they use. Let's see if the Lakers can fix their situation. And we'll just finish by saying that the Mavs' current situation, their current status when AD comes back, throw him at the 4 with Gafford, PJ, Clay, Kyrie. And if you don't want to start PJ, you can start Grimes or Marshall and just bring Washington off the bench. He's used to it. He's done both. All right. That's it. We'll see you next time. Trade Deadline Pod coming on Thursday. Be ready.